G'day all and welcome back to Freo Faithful. Today we're here for the preview of the Dockers' return to football in 2025. I am so pumped. The season isn't officially underway, but this certainly is a feel-good game, and not just a feel-good game, but we'll get to see and get a bit of a gauge on where the Dockers are at heading into 2025. We'll obviously be without a few of our stars, those being our Indigenous boys who are out due to playing for the All Stars as well as with injury, which is a big discussion point going into this game. Shai Bolton under an injury cloud. Do we risk him to play against us in this game? Alex Pearce has been ruled out, which massively weakens the All-Stars backline. And Michael Walters will be playing against us. He'll be captaining against us, which is such a good story for the club. This game is going to be super entertaining. There is no doubt about that. There have been a lot of tickets sold to the game at Optus on Saturday that starts in the twilight slot. It's the first footy game of the season. It's been nationally broadcasted. There's been a lot of hype around it. And this is the first representative AFL game since 2020, since the Bushfire Relief game. It's the first Indigenous All Stars game in 10 years since they played West Coast at Leederville Oval. So it's a much bigger occasion now. They're really trying to revitalise rep footy in the AFL, and I think this is a perfect way to do it. It's going to be a very interestingly composed game, I guess you could say. Just in terms of the matchups, obviously the Indigenous All Stars are going to be a fantastically entertaining team to watch with their small forward presence, as has been the talk in this game. They're a very quick, they're a very small team. In fact, they're so thin on tools, they've picked Cohen Livingston to play in the ruck. He plays for West Coast. He hasn't played a game for them, hasn't really even been a sniff near the AFL side. So yeah, that's how thin they are on tools. Making it even worse for the All Stars, Liam Jones is out injured and Alex Pearce is out injured. So their tall back stocks are very thin. They'll probably have Joel Hamling playing in a main role down there. They'll have Jarman Impey coming off halfback. So overall, it'll be the back line that's probably the weaker area and that we need to attack, considering we have strengthened there. We've strengthened the forward line, so we do really need to attack that weak back line if we are to pick up anything here, because as much as it's a preseason game, this is a very tough team to play against, and I want a result to show that we are serious in 2025. And I know you might think that this game is a completely meaningless game, but this is our substitute for a match sim, which teams will be taking seriously. So this is a proper preseason game. We've properly got to go at it. There's a bit more on the line. There's a bit more fun about it, but it doesn't change the fact that we're out there to win the game. This isn't an exhibition game. This isn't an all-star game. This is a game where both teams will really want to win, and especially the Indigenous All Stars, because this is a really proud moment for them. As I said, it's rep footy. They'll really relish this occasion of being able to represent this All-Star side that hasn't taken the park in 10 years. So yeah, it's going to be a really special game for both teams, and hopefully a special crowd rocks up to Optus. Overall, I'm just real excited to have footy back. It's been a long time coming. In my opinion, this off-season has gone for ages. The grand final feels like yonks ago to me, and my excitement has never been higher to watch the Dockers play again. So even if it's an exhibition match, I'm still so keen. I want to take a look at how the forward line will line up, first of all, for the All Stars, because this feeds into how the Dockers will line up down back. Our general defenders have a real big gig on their hands. Not having Alex Pearce might be a blessing in disguise, because who on earth would he actually play on? Their tall forward stocks are very thin. They'll probably have Ash Johnson playing. They'll have Jeremy Finlayson playing. So it's going to be very thin in terms of who they've got as talls. Luke Ryan is going to have a massive gig on some of the really exciting small forwards. He might end up going on Charlie Cameron, as well as Luke Ryan. Brandon Walker, probably one of the quickest in our deep back line. Jordan Clark will be rebounding off halfback, but Brandon Walker deep in our back line. He'll get a really important role on one of the 10 plus Indigenous All Stars small forwards that have been picked. So our backline's going to have to hold up really well. It's going to be a unique task for them, because not once in an AFL game are they going to come up against a small forward line, or just a forward line this small in general and this speedy. So yeah, it's going to be a really unique task for the guys like Luke Ryan and Brandon Walker. But I hope they're up to it. There's always going to be different challenges thrown at you in an AFL game, and this is certainly a unique one. The midfield is going to be a difficult one to win. I mean, we've hopefully, with the names we've got the best midfield in the comp heading into 2025, but the All Stars have picked a very, very strong midfield as well. They'll have a few small forwards pinch hitting through there, so we've probably got more natural mids, but I think in the middle of the ground is where the Dockers really need to get on top, especially with them having Colin Livingston on the ruck. Hopefully Luke Jackson can do a number on him, or Liam Reedy, depending on how we decide to set up. You'd probably assume Stephen May goes to Josh Tracy. Both times Josh Tracy played on Stephen May last season, he gave him an absolute bath, so let's hope that happens again. Melbourne defenders haven't had a great record against Fremantle as of late, especially in the 2 games last year. I think they lost by a combined 140 points or something, so that was quite fun, wasn't it? Don't get me wrong, we will still be weakened in the midfield to a certain extent, with Hayden Young missing the game due to injury, which obviously isn't ideal. Not having Darcy or Young in the midfield for our first preseason hit out, it's far from ideal. I mean, Darcy will be missing the start of the season, so we'll have to get used to that anyway, but it would have been great to see our first choice midfield mix hit it out against the All Stars, considering how strong they are in the forward half and how important it is to win it out in the middle. But that is okay, we will have to make do. We'll get Shai Bolton back, fingers crossed, for the game against Melbourne in Mandurah. Hayden Young is still a chance for that game, and we will still be without Sean Darcy for that game as well. So, we'll have to make do with a few areas on the ground. This is a very difficult game to preview because the layout of the All-Star side is so different to any AFL team we'll probably face throughout the year. But nevertheless, it's such an exciting occasion. The footy's back. It's the first official AFL game of the season. First exhibition game, I guess you could say. And yeah, I am so keen. They've been playing these Indigenous All Stars games since the 1940s. It is such a proud moment for these players. We've gone from guys like Dale Waitman, Michael Wanganeen, Maurice Rioli, the original, Phil Egan, all the way to the modern day legends such as Eddie Betts, about 10 years ago, Sean Burgoyne, and now into the current day, Charlie Cameron, Stephen May, Michael Walters. These guys will all be running out hoping to represent this All-Stars team on a stage, which is one of the biggest they've played on. These games in the past have been played in Darwin, Alice Springs, in Leederville, but this game is going to be played in front of a substantial crowd at Optus Stadium. So very excited for this one. It's going to be a super fun hit out. Go check out at Freo.Faithful on Instagram to keep up with everything in the lead up and after the Indigenous All Stars game, as well as stay tuned on the YouTube. The podcast will be out Monday. Thank you all for watching. My prediction is the Dockers by 23, which is rare because the All-Stars tend to win these sorts of games. But I think with how this sort of game is laid out, and trust me, these All-Stars guys will be going out to win so hard because this is such a proud moment for them. But I just think as an actual footballing side and how we're going to be laid out, I think the Dockers will be too good for the All-Stars on the day. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers.